Hi, I'm the leader of the Republican Party of Scotland, and this video is a response to Benjamin Netanyahu's floral remarks yesterday afternoon. Benjamin Netanyahu, he made comments yesterday afternoon about the Palestinians and the Holocaust. Now he claims, there's only one in the world that claims this, right enough, but he claims, or he claimed yesterday, that the Palestinians caused the Holocaust. Now I know Israel, the non-state of Israel, sitting on an actual state of Palestine, is at the moment in some turmoil. Over there's Israeli killing Israeli. The world's media will portray it as Jew killing Jew, but Israelis, they are not Jews. Benjamin Netanyahu, as we all know, is an evil bastard, and so is Ariel Sharon, right? Now I'm not going to split hairs here, and I'm not going to make things all polite and all nice and nice. The facts are the facts. Anyone like Ariel Sharon or Benjamin Netanyahu, they are evil bastards. I don't care who says anything about this. They are evil bastards. They are Zionists. They are bred to be evil bastards. Now, way back in World War II, right, there's one thing he did say that was correct, that Adolf Hitler, of course, wanted to expel the Jewish people from Germany. That part was correct, that was the only part that was correct, but what Netanyahu failed to mention was that Adolf Hitler also said if the Jews didn't leave Germany, then they would be killed, basically gassed. He mentioned gassed. Facebook again. Right. Now, he deliberately never mentioned that, okay? Only thing he was interested in was labelling the Palestinian people as Jew murdering bastards, which they are not, they were not, and never will be. The only murdering bastards here are the Israelis. We all know that. The UK government knows that. The UK government actually supports the Israeli government in every evil act they do to the Palestinian people and to the people in Lebanon. All our political parties here in the UK are basically Zionist Israeli supporters, apart from one party which is not in the UK, it's in Scotland, but I don't recognise the UK anyway. I'm here in Scotland. Scotland is not in the UK or anything else, okay? It's not even part of the UK anymore. I'll tell you why, because over the years the union agreement has been broken time after time by London. They broke the agreement, tough shit. There is no agreement so far as I'm concerned. They destroyed it a long time ago. Now, back to this. This guy has claimed that the Palestinians killed the Jews, caused the Holocaust. No, we all know that's not true anyway. The whole world was kicking up hell yesterday, and probably still is today, at these early hours. Anyway, Zionism is what really spurned on Adolf Hitler to execute 6 million Jews. Right. Zionism. And it wasn't Jewish Zionism either, because Zionism is not Jewish. It never was Jewish, and it never will be Jewish. Zionism is from a different race of people, okay? The Israelis under Zionism Why do people think that Israelis say that to be called a Jew is derogatory? Being called a Jew is not derogatory to a real Jewish person. It's like me being called a Scot. I'm from Scotland. Someone calls me a Scot, that is not, I repeat, not a derogatory term, because I am Scottish. Now if I was Irish, or if I was Welsh and someone called me a Scot, then I might turn around and say that is derogatory. This is what Israelis do. They try and make out that the only person that labelled them Jews was Adolf Hitler during this time, during World War II, when they labelled them Juden, or Juden badges, Jew. But this is totally untrue. Jew is it's just an acronym, it's a short name for someone who came from Judea. Now the Israelis know the whole truth here about Zionism and everything else. Zionism never ever came from the Jewish people or anywhere near Judea. Just as Judea was never where Israel is, plucked on top of the actual state of Palestine. Judea was over the map a good bit, way back thousands of years ago. If you check up the old maps, go into Google Images, old maps, look for the old maps for thousands of years ago. They're there. I've seen them myself. They're all there. Go back thousands of years. The only reason he's coming out of this is because he finds himself in a time of desperation. He finds himself a time where he sees Israel falling apart at the seams. Oh, what a shame. A single tear rolls down my cheek. Israel falling apart. What a wonderful thing for the peace of the whole planet, if that ever happened. God. People like Netanyahu, they will stop at nothing. They will stop at saying anything to get us to believe in their cause. Their only cause is evil, barbarity, destruction, bloodshed. And anyone within any government, including the British government, who supports their views are the same. And that's reflected upon our British government, who's been following the American government stance for years on foreign policy. What foreign policy? The US has no foreign policy, they never did. They always spoke for years about foreign policy, didn't they? They never had it. They never had any foreign policy. Over recent weeks, they've been caught with their pants down. Quite a lot. Past few days, they've really been caught with their pants down. I watched an argument on RT News with four US government officials 2 nights ago. Nearly hours of yesterday morning, actually. Nearly two nights ago. But anyway, and while I was doing it, I thought to myself, I have to put this on Facebook, let people see what's happening here, because they will be watching this on this, not the RT News I was watching anyway. You don't get it on British television. And everything over here censored anyway, so fuck British TV, I don't watch it. Okay, I've got a big TV, I just don't watch TV in Britain because there's no point, it's shit anyway. Right, so anyway, to cut a long story short, okay, on RT News there were 4, not top officials of the US government obviously, they wouldn't dare go in there and admit all this. 4 lower level government officials, and they actually admitted some things on there. They were arguing about this, the fact that the US did just support ISIS, but they were also supporting umpteen different other terrorist groups within Syria in order to destabilise the entire country and the surrounding region. They deliberately kept Iraq destabilised. The UK government, not just this government, but government before David Cameron, were actually trying to destabilise Syria a way back then. Of course, the people of Syria went against their leader. Right, this happens, shit happens, okay, in the world. Any country this can happen to. So, they went against their leader. They had enough of him, just like we've all had enough of David Cameron, but we took up in this country to do anything right, so we'll sit with our arses and be lazy bastards. Okay? Right now. The Syrian people went against their government. Obviously their government sent police out, police got their heads battered in, blah blah blah. So what happens? The army backs up the police. Fine. Anyway, they went. Now, the government troops and the soldiers became overwhelmed after quite a lengthy period of time, like months, you know. Now, Assad's regime ended up more or less toppled, one might say, not because of the people, but because of all these muppets from outside Syria coming into Syria in the guise of helping the people. Now, I'm not talking about governments here, I'm talking about terrorists. Different splinter groups formed off of what was left of Al Qaeda and other groups, and they formed into their own groups in Syria, gave themselves a new name, said to the people, we're going to help you. Did they? No. ISIS in Syria, right, they actually burned men alive in cages on the streets of Syria. And this wasn't long before Russia moved in, by the way. So much for America bombing ISIS. They were liars. Putin already knows this. That's why Putin's in there. And he's going to take over Iraq as well to sort that out. Regardless of what anybody says, doesn't make any difference what anybody says, it's getting done. The whole mess is getting sorted out. But anyway, Britain as well isn't innocent in all this. Never is. Britain's been supporting terrorist organisations within Syria also. Now, please note here, America was telling us and their own people in the rest of the world that America was supporting resistance fighters. What a lot of shite. They wouldn't know a resistance fighter but come up and butt them in the fucking arse. What America has been doing was dropping weapons at certain points all over the Middle East within the Syria area. Anybody was going to pick these weapons up. We're not just talking about submachine guns here and things like that, we're talking about anti-aircraft fucking missiles. Why would America be dumping anti-aircraft missiles in the middle of the Libyan dust, basically? That's all that's left now. There's no towns, no cities, no nothing. No, it's not all because of Assad either. Most of the destruction that's happened in Syria has been through these other splinter groups from Al Qaeda and of course ISIS or ISIL, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, whatever the fuck their creators, the American government, wants to call them. Who cares? These are the people that have destroyed Syria. Not Assad, not anybody else. The Americans, of course, would have us believe that Assad gassed his people. Not true. No one knows who fuck gassed them. Nobody knows. It wasn't him. And that was only not that long ago. I think that was the last straw. That's when Russia said, oh, fuck this, we're getting in. We've had enough of watching this pish. So, but at the end of the day anyway, basically our governments are to blame for all this mess down there. And now because of this, it's not that far from Israel. The Israelis are now bloody killing each other in the streets. And in times of desperation, people will say desperate things. I mean, look what America's been telling us for years. American government have always been desperate bastards. They will say anything. And the European governments are always stupid enough to follow these muppets. Why? Because the only thing America's got for them, it's not that they are being powerful, it's just that they instill fear. That's it. That's all they've got going for them, fear. And I'm going to say this. The biggest historical mistake that Britain ever made was building America. They're one of the youngest nations, if not the youngest nation on this planet. Right? Think about this. They think they own the world. They own fuck all. Right? They own fuck all. Half of the American people that I've spoke to, right, whether it be on the internet, not on Facebook of course, I spoke to a few very nice Americans on Facebook, they're okay. There are a lot of Americans out there that have been brought up in America. They're as pompous as hell, and they actually believe that America rules the world. No, they don't. The American government never ruled any world. And these days they're about to find out. It's as simple as that. All this destruction, all this mayhem, all this killing. As I've called the Americans these days, the baby bombers. That's what they've been doing over the years, and Britain has been following them. And your Western European governments are just as bad. The French, the Germans. Well, did you know Australians, by the way, have got 4 aircraft over Syria at the moment? Why, I don't know. All they do is complicating matters. There's going to be too many different aircraft in the airspace up there. There's going to be a collision somewhere. But everybody wants to jump onto Russell's bandwagon, you see, to be seen to be doing their little bit. And they're just complicating things. They should stay out of it. And that includes the British. Because we're just filling the skies up with junk, basically. When Russia are obviously trying to do the best job they can. While we were sitting on our arses doing fuck all. Our governments certainly weren't killing any ISIS. And now there was America when they told us they were. Bombing infrastructure in Syria. Be lucky if you see one building standing in Syria. Even the street cameras are gone. They don't even have any street cameras anymore, can you believe that? There are street cameras in Syria, or there were. They're on the websites. You look around about the world, look at streets and cities around the world through your street cams on the internet. You see Syrian ones, they don't work. They don't exist anymore, that's why, bombed to fuck. with cruise missiles, or with ISIS, or with NOS, whatever their name were. Who knows? We're gone. If you look at RT News International during the day, the international one, that is, the one that says international, not the one that says English. The RT English is the one on British television that's censored. It might be in English. The international version of RT News is also in English, but it gives you all the news, not just bits of it here and there. You go into international RT News, you'll see everything. You'll see what is left of Syria. There's documentaries all over the world in English that will show you exactly what's left of Syria. You don't get it here in the UK, of course. You have to go onto your computer, go onto the internet, get them on there, run them through your computer onto your TV screen or something. There's nothing left of Syria. Yeah. I'll put it to everyone, right? Now, if Mr. Assad was as guilty as gassing these people and all the rest of it, as Americans say, why would he still be living in Syria? He did go back, he went to Moscow a good few weeks ago. I thought he was living there. Apparently not. He was offered. He said no, he wanted to be with his people. So he's staying, believe it or not, in what's left of Syria. What can you do? So, anyway, the Syrian people get fed up with all these terrorist organisations because the terrorist organisations came supposedly to help the Syrian people, as I was saying at the beginning, right? Now, these terrorist organisations ended up killing the people. So Assad's men ended up trying to kill them because they were killing the people. His police ended up overwhelmed. His army ended up overwhelmed because, let's face it, Syria's army was never anything major compared to Russia or the baby bombers, the Americans. Their army was never anything great. It was, it was alright, it was okay, but and I don't know how well trained the troops were, I don't know. But there's an alliance between Russia and Iraq and a few other nations, and obviously the Kurds as well. And with this, they are hoping to bump off every last terrorist they can find. And we just hope. There's over, the last count was 600, right? 600 odd ISIL that we know of that has actually fled Syria. Now, a few weeks ago, what I was saying on Facebook was there is a chance that ISIL people might end up coming over to Western Europe with the influx of refugees. Obviously, we can't turn around and say we're keeping every single last refugee out because of this, because, pardon me, most of them are innocent civilians. The reason they ran away before Russia went in there. If you can remember, these Syrian refugees at the borders of Western Europe before Russia went to Syria. I say another reason why Russia's in there. Because they know what's happened better than we do. Because what we've been doing, let's face it, is listening to lying bastard governments. And that's all they are. Wherever UK or the Americans, they're just lying bastards for their own ends. But these refugees were over here at the gate of the doors of Europe before Russia went in there. And the reason was because they weren't running away from Assad, they were running away from ISIS and God knows what other terrorist organisations that were over there that America was supporting. Surprise, surprise, not. And America will still badmouth anyone who tries to help that situation over there. That's all they're good at. They're good at doing evil. And they're good at blaming other people for their wrong deeds, basically. We are America, we are the American government. We know we've been supplying weapons and arms to terrorists that have been killing and destabilising the region. We know these terrorists we've been giving the weapons to, as American government, have been killing the innocent civilians of Syria. But we'd rather tell the general public all over the world Assad is doing it because we don't like him. What we want to do is we want to destabilise the entire region so that that's an excuse for us to go in and say we're going to help. And what do? We take control of the entire country. And Iraq was already messed up anyway. And we run this big gas pipeline from the Saudi Emirates all the way down to and split it into a fork of two pipelines. One running to America and Canada, the other one running to Western Europe under the ocean. That would take years to build. That's what we wanted to do. Between that and take over Syria Central Bank, the only central bank that's left that isn't owned by a fucking Rothschild. It's evil stuff. And Netanyahu, it's fuck all he can do anyway. They're just waiting on the borders being breached. Maybe by ISIS. The ones that are running away, what direction are they going to go in? To us? That's a bit obvious. But they're not that clever anyway, obviously. If they were clever, they wouldn't have got bombed into oblivion by Russia. They would have been smarter. But it wasn't very smart people that was supplying them with weapons and food, I might add, food as well. The baby bombers were supplying ISIS with food. And the baby bombers were the ones who were saying that we are supplying rebels against Assad with weapons. No, they weren't. They were dumping weapons at designated spots in the desert areas of Syria. They don't know who picked them up. Nobody knows. The Russians don't even know who picked them up. The only people that knows the people that picked them up. And amongst these weapons were tons and tons and tons of anti-aircraft missiles. Now, why America would want to throw away anti-aircraft missiles to someone who they know that sometime in the future is going to be shooting down their planes, but they don't care about that. Because they know perfectly well, if they destabilise a region for long enough periods and weaponise all sides, they know they're going to make a fucking fortune out of it, because there's a lot of people in the American government and above that that have shares in the same munitions companies that have fed all the magazines and all the guns in the American army and all the shells and all the tanks through the Iraq war, through Libya, and that one in between Iraq and Libya, over next to Russia. What the hell do you call it again? See, I don't do scripts. We know what it is. Eastern Europe. Anyway, I'll come back to me and I'll mention it. Serbia, Croatia. Yeah, Milosevic and his mob. There's people in America that made fortunes. The more bullets that are fired, the more tank shells that are fired, even down to cruise missiles that are fired. People make lots of money off of that. That's Zionism for you. Zionism, whether it be the American government or Netanyahu's government. But Netanyahu, why? I mean, it shows you how unintelligent Netanyahu really is. I bet he hasn't got long fingers. Long fingers, the index finger especially, shows intelligence. If someone's got little short stubby fingers, then they're the slick as shit, as far as intelligence goes. The Netanyahu, I bet he has little stubby fingers. Anyway, this guy obviously needs a brain check. Why a leader of any country, well, it's not a country, it's not even a state, it's a non-state. It's a non-state sitting on a real state of Palestine. It's stolen land, that's what it is, stolen land, stolen by the British government a long time ago. As usual, imperialist Britain away, but even in 1917 they were still imperial. And that was imperialism. Right, we're just going to claim this country's land and we're going to give it to them. Why? Why ever did the British government and the royal family, yes, the royal family, right, ever team up with Zionism? I'll never know. I don't know. Apart from the Rothschild connection in London. Probably all it's been. Britain is owned by the Rothschilds. London. It goes far to say even Scotland. Even if we get independence, it's still the Rothschilds owned. Even Moscow, Rothschilds. And yet look what Mr. Putin is doing. He's doing the damnedest to straighten a big mess out. A Rothschild mess, Western mess mind you, but Rothschild nevertheless. That's all that's down to. There's a lot of people out there that will say, oh, Rothschilds, that's conspiracy theory. No, it ain't. Even check Wikipedia, Google it. Rothschild, the most influential, most powerful family on the earth. And they are the most influential and the most powerful. The Rockefellers are below them, and there's quite a few other families below them too. But the Rothschilds are the number one. Now the oil shares have been down for quite a while. I bet you they'll go back up again. They'll go up and down like that. The gold prices will go up and down like that. If a Rothschild wakes up in the morning and thinks, oh, I've had a cunt of a night, I've got a splitting headache, I'll tell you what I'll do. I want to take a piss out of some people that are buying stocks in gold. I'm going to wait until lots and lots of people are in there buying, and then I'm going to destroy the prices. The Rothschilds can do this. The Rothschilds can set all the prices on any stock market anywhere in the planet. They can do that. They own them. The Rothschilds own Wall Street. They own London. They own China. They own the Hang Seng. You name it, they own it. They even own the shares. Yes, the very shares that are for sale within gold, copper, steel. And that's why steel prices are plummeted. Silver mines, diamond mines, rubies. You name it. Platinum. The Rothschilds just don't own the stock markets, nor the banks. They own all the shares within all the banks and within all the stock markets. And you might think to yourself, well, how can that be possible? Because investors are buying them. Yes, they are. They are buying Rothschild-owned shares. That's a fact. And they're Zionists too. And the whole point about Zionism is owning as much as you can. Like everything. And I mean everything. And it's them that own Israel. Lock, stock and barrel. They even own Netanyahu and Ariel Sharon. If Lord Rothschild wanted Netanyahu's balls on a plate in the morning in 5 hours time, he would get them on a plate. Believe me. Definitely. For whatever reason. It's becoming a bit of a liability though. One must admit. Coming out with stupid things like that. For the Rothschilds, I'll replace them for something a little more intelligent. Maybe a little more greedier too. This is the thing the Rothschilds do. They employ greedy people and they tell them what they want to do. They know these people will do anything to get up the ladder of success. If you want to call that success, of course. Financial success. There's only types of people they will employ. They wouldn't employ me. Even though if I put my mind to it, I could be hell of a good at that job, believe me. More better than Netanyahu anyway, or David Cameron. But I wouldn't do that. So I know how these fuckers think. The Zionists hate that. They don't like people that know how they think. They don't like people that can stay 10 steps ahead of them. They hate that. They don't like that at all, in the least. Who cares? Who cares what I like or what I don't like? They're all scum. They're murdering scum. That's all they ever will be. But David Ariel Sharon really said there. Benjamin Netanyahu, he's becoming unstable. Yes. If I were them, I would dump him. Like a hot brick down a well or whatever. It wouldn't be hard to have a better leader than that. Doesn't matter who he is or what he is or anything else. Put him back in his skin again. Put him back to bed where he belongs, basically. Get someone else. Even Ariel Sharon, he's old. But too, I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu is 66 years old. I mean, he's an old man. Who knows, maybe he's got dementia or something. But he's unstable anyway. He's coming out with stupid things like that. It's crazy. Palestinians never hurt anyone. Well, obviously, way back, thousands and thousands of years ago, when their ancestors took over that piece of land, they conquered it. Of course they did. Who didn't conquer land away back then? How much land, how much countries did Britain conquer? Australia, the Aborigines. Murdered to fuck. the Red Indians over in America, what is called America now, Britain called it America, murdered to first again. That's two races. There's only a handful of Aborigines left in Australia, and the white Australian government treats them like trash. Yet it was originally Aboriginal country. And that's Zionist. America's not so bad, right? And their Indians are treated decently. Like everyone else, you know. There's only a handful of them left too. Red Indians, real Red Indians. And the whole plains of America used to be theirs at one time. They used to live in peace. Till Christopher Columbus came along right enough. There isn't any country in the world that hasn't conquered. America, they haven't conquered anyone, they just baby bomb people. Now, call them baby bombers, that's all they've ever done over since Iraq. Bombing innocent men, women and children out of their homes, out of their schools, out of hospitals. Oops, another accident, my arse. If it was technological, as they say, well, they wouldn't have so many accidents anyway. Just that half of them were on cocaine lately, in any case. Probably they're doing their job, or whatever. They're murderers. British government's conquered. Russia's even conquered, right, in the past. I don't know about France right enough. Germany tried to conquer a lot. I mean, a lot of countries conquered. So, all we can blame, see, I say it's no us, not us personally. People like Netanyahu to say, well, the Palestinians stole that land. They never stole that land, they were born in that fucking land. Their ancestors never stole it either, they conquered it. Now the British government, of course, at the beginning of the last century, roughly 1917 onwards, claimed that territory by theft. Now they stole it. And then they gave it to Lord Rothschild. And of course Lord Rothschild, after the Holocaust, that the Zionists never created, but spurred on to make sure that happened when they could have prevented it. Their little saying, you see, when they were over to them, the Zionist Federation and the Rothschild, standing in the middle of Palestine. On war movies, this is portrayed as a German soldier officer saying this. This phrase was really said, and it wasn't any German officer that said it anywhere. It was one Zionist and one Rothschild. The Zionist said to the Rothschild in Palestine, one cow in Palestine is worth more than all the Jews in Europe. And that was actually said. And it was no German officer that said that. It was a Zionist fucker. And the reason too, and they were standing there in Palestine, because they were discussing building Israel. And that was before the Holocaust, but during the war around about 1942. It did happen. It was Zionists that said that. It was no Germans that said it. There's no point in saying to a Zionist, stand back and look at yourself. They don't know how to. They don't have any consciences, feelings, I don't even know if they've got any feelings for themselves, to be honest. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. They are basically evil. And anything Zionist within any government, I don't care whether it's UK government or any other government, they're predominantly evil. That's probably why, the British are seeing nowadays how this government is treating a lot of other people here. It's going to get worse, I know. It's not going to get any better. There's no more good times coming. There's not going to be any end to any recession, because there is no recession. Austerity is only a name, it's only a word. It's a Zionist name, it's a Zionist word. There was no banking crisis. It never happened. It never happened. It's all Zionism. It's all there to wind your mind up. You don't know what's reality and what isn't anymore. There's that many asylum seekers been coming into Britain. It screws up people's heads in England. Not so much up here in Scotland. We don't have that many up here. In England, there's so many in England, it's unbelievable. The closer you get to London, the more concentrated the population is with asylum seekers. And it's a perfect breeding ground for racism. And eventually all these little racist parties in England will all spring up again. They're just waiting for things to get to a sort of boiling point, which isn't that yet. That's all they'll be waiting on, the BNP and rubbish like that. Then they'll all spring up again, claiming that they're not racist, claiming that oh, I'm only telling the truth, blah blah blah. This is the times they wait for. Don't fall for it. If you're English, do not fall for it. Don't. Because you'll end up with a government down in England that you're going to hate. Hitlerite, basically. You don't want that. In any case, what Netanyahu said yesterday should never have been said in the first place. He should know better. After all, he is a Nazi. He should know what is expected of him to say and not say within his regime. Oh, that's right. Nazi, I said, didn't I? Yeah, it's true, yeah. He's actually a Zionist, but folks, what's the difference?